The whole thing with religion is it's designed to keep you from ever knowing yourself. And this whole good versus bad thing, this whole sin thing, it doesn't exist. There is no sin. It's just you being a human being. For a lot of people, it's very difficult to allow themselves to truly accept that, because accepting that means you're accepting yourself, and you're accepting the dark parts of you with the light parts of you, the parts that you're not too happy with the parts that you love, and you learn to dance with them, and you learn to be okay that yes, I'm a human being, and sometimes I'm going to be very disciplined, and sometimes I'm not, and everything is gonna be okay.
Religion? Jewish? Okay, go to room 21, but be very quiet when you pass room 8. Muslim? Okay, go to room 50, but be very quiet when you pass room 8. Agnostic? Okay, go to room 71, but be very quiet when you pass room 8. Why must we all be quiet when we pass room 8? Oh, the Catholics are in room 8, but they think they're the only ones here.
Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa, or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg.
That day is going to come when the sky is cracked and Jesus Christ comes again, and every eye will see him when he comes again.
Remove the shoe. Remove the shoe.
You shoe no wrong, pa one shoe no wrong.
Take your passport. Take your passport. Take your passport.
This secret group. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
Been a part of your life. You've been called ugly. You've been called a bitch before. Yeah, I command the spirit of bitch to come out. I command the spirit of bitch to come out. Everyone that called you a bitch. Everyone that called you a...
For today, this man died since Friday. Hey. Elliot. Rise up. Yes. Come on. Come on.
A pussy. Hey, bring the camera, son. Bring the camera. All the young girls who want to make life with pussy, your pussy will perish with you in hell. May your pussy perish with you. May your smooth pussy, creamier pussy, and tight pussy perish.
I would answer the question, religious about what? All right? In other words, I have a strong belief, and I act on what? For one thing, I am a prisoner of war. So what my actions are, does not reflect how I would do it if I wasn't a prisoner of war. But since I am a prisoner of war, I don't really know what my religion is, except I call it eclectic pluralism. That's described in the textbook itself. Eclectic pluralism means I'm still trying to learn.
Okay, still learning. Okay, I got you.
I'm still trying to learn what the real religion is, since everybody says, who is religious, says they have the real religion. So if everybody's saying that they have the real religion, and they say that the religion is different from somebody else's religion, then what is the real religion if you are a person who is trying to be religious? And you're trying to find out what the real religion is. So I say that I'm still trying to find out, because people are killing each other about what the real religion is. And I don't want to get into another argument or another fight and add to that chaos. I'm just trying to stand there and find out from somebody who really knows what the real religion is. And what do I do to prove that that's the real religion?
Okay.
What am I supposed to do? And I have to ask everybody of every religion this.
Okay.
So I say, that's why I always say, I'm still learning. See, I don't have a strong belief backed up by action, because the white supremacists teach me a whole bunch of different things. And so the only thing I know is that I'm drifting. I mean, if you're asking, what is the name of my religion, I say eclectic pluralism. I had to give it that title. That's a compensatory
title.
Right. Meaning what? I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to find out where the real religion is.
Still learning.
Because everybody that I talk to about religion, who has a religion, says that they have the real religion. And sometimes they'll say all other religions are false. I heard a priest once say that you can't get into heaven if you're not Catholic.
Oh,
I was told that many years ago, back in the 1950s. So you can forget about going to heaven if you're not Catholic. Just forget about it. I mean, you're just wasting your time. Said that directly.
Wow.
Because, and I was kind of, that's the first time I'd ever heard that. Now, maybe that priest was out of line, because maybe there are other priests who will say, Catholic priests who will say, no, you never tell nobody that. But that's what that priest told me.
Wow. Yeah.
So then I found out just from that experience that sometimes even people of the same religion don't agree.
Yeah.
All right?
According to compensatory counter-racist logic, religion means the sum total of everything a person thinks and everything that he or she says, plus everything that he or she does. A religion includes all parts of a person's existence, each minute of each day. Even if those parts are never put into words, they are still a part of a person's religion if that person willfully and deliberately speaks and acts according to those parts. Religion is not separate from existence, nor is it separate from any part of existence. To put an end to unnecessary arguments about what religion does or does not mean, pay greater attention to what people actually do and compare what they actually do with what they themselves have said that their choice of religion requires them to do. According to compensatory counter-racist logic and or the law of compensation, there is reason to believe that in the known universe, a force or power exists that is greater than the mind power and the body power of all the people of the known universe combined. This force is most often referred to as all power, God, Yahweh, the Creator, the Great Spirit, Allah, etc., and is the greatest force in the known universe. Though there has been great disagreement about the form of this force, there's little disagreement about the existence of this power and or the existence of a closely interrelated combination of forces that causes this power. The white supremacists, racist man and racist woman collectively, however, function as their own religion. They are the God of their own religion, and they accept no other God that, unlike themselves, does not speak and or act in support of white supremacy. They speak and act as if any God worthy of their serious attention must be white in appearance and must assist in whatever they choose to do in regards to non-white people. According to a compensatory counter-racist logic, no person who practices the religion of white supremacy practices any religion other than the religion of white supremacy. Those white people who practice the religion of white supremacy do, however, sometimes use other religious titles. They do this as a way of better deceiving their victims into believing that they are not white supremacists. In the known universe, the white people who maintain the system of white supremacy have so far succeeded in requiring that no part of any religion will be practiced in any other manner that results in substantial damage to the elimination of the system of white supremacy. Racist man and racist woman do not care what religion a non-white person prays about, talks about, or sings about, as long as that non-white person does nothing to effectively harm the practice of the religion of white supremacy. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Happy Monday. I'm Joseph Ward. For all my new viewers, for all the returning viewers, y'all already know I love you. We're picking up on Area 7 of the Compensatory Counter-Racist Code, and Area 7 is the area of religion. We're starting on page 261. And remember, this is the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code concept, a compensatory counter-racist code, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of white supremacy. So we're talking about religion. What is religion? How was religion used? Why are we religious? What is the best religion? Is there a religion that is the religion? So Nelly Fuller is asserting under counter-racist logic that yes, multiple religions exist, but the only religion that is actually truly practiced and the only religion on this earth that has more power over the other religions and it's able to negatively affect the other religions is the religion of white supremacy. That is the one religion that is the powerful religion. This is the religion of the white supremacists, the religion of white supremacy, right? Because as I started out, he's saying religion is everything that you do. Because think about it, we say, well, this person does this religiously, right? Religion, according to counter-racist logic, religion is everything that you do. How you walk, how you talk, how you think, how you behave, how you interact with other people. All those things go into your religion because your religion affects every area of your life. But he's also asserting that whatever religion, if you do not subscribe to the religion of white supremacy, so whatever religion that you do subscribe to, if you are not using that religion to end the system of white supremacy and produce justice, then that religion does not have more power, or that religion is not being used correctly, or that religion may not have more power than the religion of white supremacy. The religion of white supremacy is what the white supremacists are employing on the world. And there are those who practice the religion of white supremacy consciously and unconsciously. So he's not even going that religion as far as the normal way that people would talk about religion and how religion affects the Black community. He's going in the direction of the religion of white supremacy is the only religion right now that we need to concentrate on, because this is the religion that most affects us. You can call yourself a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, a Buddhist, a Catholic, a Protestant, whatever you want to call yourself. But the religion of white supremacy is the true religion, because a lot of these people who, like he said in the book, a lot of these people in these other religions, these religions are masked for their practice of white supremacy. They use these as catalysts or as vehicles so they can practice the system of white supremacy. But it's helping to suppress those religions and suppress the people within those religions, so those people will not be a threat to the system of white supremacy. Remember, everything they do in every area of activity, because that's basically what Nelly Fuller is getting at. Every area of human activity, racism affects every area. But this is how the specific area of religion is affected. It's used to suppress anything that would challenge the system of white supremacy. So that's why nowadays the Black church, for the most part, does not challenge the system of white supremacy the way the Black church did in the past. Nat Turner was a preacher. Look at Dr. King. Malcolm X was not a Christian, but Malcolm X was a Muslim, part of a religion, and the mosque and the Nation of Islam challenged white supremacy, right? So we can't have that no more. Look at how church is used. Look at the opening clips. The Black church is more of a spectacle today than anything. All right. So here's a question. Are white people devils are non-white people devils? The answer is the only people who can recognize a devil are people who can recognize a God. So yeah, I'm still rapping. I'm not going to act like I really understand that. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. I'm not going to act like I truly understand that, but I think I kind of get it because, and this is what I'm thinking. If you can recognize evil, or if you used to recognize evil, you'll know good when you see it because it'll be different. I'm guessing. So, but like I said first, I don't fully understand that, but that's something that I'm chewing on. The only people who can recognize the devil are the people who can recognize a God. If you get that better than I do, drop it in the comments and help all of us out, because I'm not going to act like I know it all, but I think that's powerful though. And it's something that we need to understand. The only people who can recognize the devil are the people who can recognize a God. And one of the reasons why I'm harping on this is I don't believe that we fully know how to recognize devils. Because like last week's video, because of the system of white supremacy, yes, you have some white people who are about challenging the system of white supremacy. But they look just like the white supremacists. And the white supremacists are so deceptive that they are now pretending to be white people who are challenging the system of white supremacy. So it's a bit more difficult to recognize the devil. And it's going to be difficult to recognize the God. So we have to get past the confusion. If we can get past the confusion, we could better recognize the devil and the God. That's how I'm going about it. If that's wrong, let me know. When a person asks you to talk about his or her religion or spiritual system, ask him or her the following questions. What is the name of your religion? What does your religion or spirituality require you to do in all areas of activity, including economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, war, sex, war, and counter war? How is your religion helping you to become better at combating the system of white supremacy? How is your religion helping those who follow it combat the system of white supremacy? What does your religion or spiritual system require you to do in regards to me in all of my interactions with you in all areas of activity? Because these are great questions. Can any person be a member of and or be a part of your religion? If so, how? If not, why not? Are you doing your best to have all people be members of and or be part of your religion? If so, how? If not, why not? Should all persons who are interested in supporting your religion do the exact same things that you do in each area of activity? If not, why not? And that's a great question, because of course we know people are going to say, nah, people don't have to do the same thing. They're not getting it though. They're not getting it. What's the point? Like, you can't join a religion and then just start freestyling. That's why we got all these denominations now. Does your religion or spirituality require that you at all times speak and act to replace white supremacy with justice in all areas of activity? Well, we know the answer to that for a lot of people. We know the answer to that one, right? Should I expect you to practice all of the requirements of your religion or spiritualism at all times? If not, why not? And see, that's another these are all 8 great questions that Nelly Fuller asked when talking about religion, or somebody's asking you about religion or trying to educate you about their religion. Because like the last question, should I expect you to practice all of the requirements of your religion at all times? For the most part, from the people that I've interacted with and I've experienced from who are religious and spiritual that answer to that question is no. They're not going to practice that at all times. And that's one of the issues, though, because the system of white supremacy is practiced at all times. Consistency. Can't pick and choose when you're going to practice it. The system of white supremacy is practiced at all times, 24/7, 365. There's no days off in the system of white supremacy. There's no days off in the religion of white supremacy. So there cannot be any days off in fighting white supremacy. Our fun has to be constructive fun that ultimately leads us to being able to overthrow the system of white supremacy or replace the system of white supremacy, however you want to say it. all of our fun, all of our religious activities, all of the sexual activities. We've covered this. Everything has to be constructive, everything that we do. Constructive doesn't mean dull. Constructive doesn't mean boring. Constructive doesn't mean monotonous. Constructive doesn't mean tedious. Constructive means just what it is. It's constructive. It's leading us to a positive end. It's leading us to the outcome that we actually want. What does your spiritualism play in what people do? Is spiritualism necessary in getting people to be as they should be and or getting people to do as they should do? The answer is, what is called spiritualism could and should be used to inspire or motivate all people to produce the will and the ability to end racism, to establish justice, and to establish correctness between people, creatures, and all things. The result of what is called spiritualism could also be and should also be the practice of what is called righteousness or peace. Righteousness and or peace is what would likely be produced through the practice of justice and correctness. So let me read the question one more time. What does spiritualism play in what people do? Is spiritualism necessary in getting people to do as they should be or getting people to do as they should do? And Nelly Fuller is getting that spiritualism at the end of the day should produce correctness. If you're calling yourself religious, spiritual, or whatever you're calling yourself, if at the end of the day it's not producing correctness, justice, peace, righteousness, you're on the wrong path. We're not asking you what your individual interpretation of it is. What are the instructions that you're supposed to be following? I know everybody like to personalize stuff, but once again, that's how you get the different denominations. That's how you get the splitting of the churches. That's how you get conflict and confusion, which ultimately, now that I'm saying that, is a trick of the white supremacists, a trick of the religion of white supremacy. Because if we look at historically, a lot of the splitting of the churches and the splitting of the ideas have been a lot of the white men splitting, especially within under the umbrella of Christianity or Catholicism, a lot of the white men splitting ideas and splitting the churches. You had some sprinkles of black people doing certain things, but the confusion of white supremacy to get everybody on different pages. If I can get you on this religious or spiritual path, you on this page, you're on this page, you're on this page, you're on this page. Everybody's on a different page, but nobody's concentrating on correctness. Nobody's concentrating on righteousness. Everybody's in ego mode. Everybody's focused on, I am right. My religion is right. Like in the clip he was talking about, everybody's talking about, I am right. My religion is right. This path is right. This path is right. This path is right. How do we know which one is right and which one is wrong? We're all going off of belief. You believe what you believe, but is it truth? Is it really helping to end the system of white supremacy? Or is it making you feel good? So, is it correct for a person to have the so-called freedom to practice the religion of white supremacy? If so, why? If not, why not? The answer is, it is not correct. And I repeat, it is not correct for a person to have the so-called freedom to practice the religion of white supremacy. The religion of white supremacy is designed to prevent the practice of all other religions. It's going to be watered down. It's going to take away the focus of righteousness and correctness and focus on other things that lead you away from justice. That's where we are today. Once again, look at the black church in the past. Look at what the black church meant to the black community in America in the past, and look at what the black church means to the black community now. The black church today is entertainment. The black church in the past was a place that white supremacists saw as a threat. That's why you had church bombings and you had all these other things, and the church was seen as a threat to the system of white supremacy because they were actually seeking to produce justice, or some form of justice. Now today, It's not. It's more so a place of solace, or a place of making people feel good about existing in the system of white supremacy. Or even the churches are used as things to help prop up the system of white supremacy. Everybody knows that if black people are riled up because of some racism that has happened, they're going to send the preachers out, especially the preachers who support the system of white supremacy. They're going to send them out to calm the Negroes down, to get the Negroes to stop doing to being all rowdy and stuff. They're going to do that. The church ain't the same. Can't have no more Nat Turners. They don't want any more Nat Turners out here. Nat Turner was a preacher. Remember that. Nat Turner was a preacher that led a slave rebellion. They can't have that happening anymore. When asked to say something about religious conflict, say one or more of the following. As long as the religion of white supremacy exists, religious conflicts are guaranteed to continue because the religion of white supremacy is designed to produce confusion. Most disputes about religion are disputes about what religion is, about what religion is best. Confusion. As a victim of the religion of white supremacy, I am not qualified to say which religion is best. I'm only qualified to say which religion is worse. The worst religion is the religion of white supremacy. Since the religion of white supremacy is the worst religion, the most powerful religion, and the most powerful religion, Since the religion of white supremacy is the worst religion, the most powerful religion, and it is designed to help promote religious confusion and conflict among non-white people, it is best for non-white people to avoid speaking and or acting against any religion except the religion of white supremacy. That is the only religion we should be speaking against because of the confusion that has been given to us. The religions were literally forced upon us. No matter your religion, you Muslim, Hebrew, or Christian, it was forced upon us at some point, right? It was forced upon us. Now we within these religions, we're out religiousing, and I know I just made that up, but we're out religiousing the people who gave it to us. But how is it really helping us? How are the religions that we're a part of really helping us? I'm not saying don't be a part of one, but what I'm saying is analyze how the religions that we practice, are they actually helping us to end the system of white supremacy? Remember, all 9 areas of human activity. This is not just talk, it's real. It's not just about talking. Well, we are affected by religion, or we're affected by white supremacy in all 9 areas. But exactly how are we affected? How does religion negatively affect Black people in America and across the globe? You have to ask yourself that question. You have so many Black people who are part of these religions, but we don't know how to use these religions to challenge the system of white supremacy. A lot of times we are taught against, we're convinced to not challenge the system of white supremacy. We want to be able to find so-called positive resolutions that only support and prop up the system of white supremacy. They did a damn job on us, didn't they? They did a job on us. Think about what I'm saying. Read the book and think about religion as a whole, and think about how Black people use religion. Think about how religious Black people are around the world. You saw the clips in the beginning. You got Black people, opening up with the preacher talking about Black people didn't do anything in Africa before white people showed up. He's a damn fool. He's an old damn fool. That's how religion is being used. I know that's not across the board. Here in my city, these pastors, in my city, these married Black pastors cannot keep their penises out of other people's wives. These pastors in my city, for the most part, challenge nothing that has to do with racism. They challenge nothing. They can be counted on to do nothing but support white supremacy. We had one particular pastor, his nose be so far up on white Republicans, but it's ridiculous. CK still would be disgusted at how he's running that church. Because CK still was a pastor who used his religion to challenge the system of white supremacy here in Tallahassee. Reverend R.N. Gooden, CK Steele and R.N. Gooden here in Tallahassee, Florida, was seen as the Martin Luther King and Malcolm X of Tallahassee. Because from my understanding and my research and the information that I got, they were two memorable, legendary pastors in the city because of the way that they challenged the system of white supremacy. The people who are pastoring those churches now, because those churches are still standing, the people who are pastoring those churches now, forget it. Forget it. They are trying to be in bed with the white people rather than challenge the system of white supremacy. When I say in bed, I'm not talking sexually. I'm just talking about doing business with them, like just helping to uphold the system of white supremacy. Yeah, we're gonna act like we don't like racism, but they understand that they benefit from helping to uphold racism. So the church ain't what it used to be. Be extremely careful in regards to everything that you say and do in your interaction with white person, or with any white person who identifies himself or herself by a religious title, or who implies that he or she is a religious person who is trying to help you end the system of white supremacy and help you produce justice. Remember, confusion, deception, and confusion. So be wary of any white person who professes their religion and professes that they are helping you to end the system of white supremacy. Now, at some point, some of these things will kind of contradict themselves, but it's contradictory for a reason, because of the confusion of the system of white supremacy. So yes, there are white people who are out there who are helping to end the system of white supremacy, but they are the white supremacists who are pretending to be the white people who are helping to end the system of white supremacy. So until we know who's who, we got to stay on our square. If a person is white and you suspect that he or she may be a white supremacist, do not expect that person to tell you the truth about his or her religion. Do not expect that person to tell you that his or her religion is white supremacy. Do not expect that person to say that his or her religion is something other than white supremacy. Also, keep in mind that as long as white supremacy exists, it is incorrect to attempt to stop the practice of any religion except the religion of white supremacy. All right? Got to understand that ending white supremacy should be the focus. That's one thing that he's getting at. The focus should be ending the system of white supremacy. Whatever beef you got with other religions, put that to the side and focus that energy on the system of white supremacy. Be very wary of white people who come to you in the name of religion and who say that they want to help keep you from being mistreated by other people, and that they want to help you replace the system of white supremacy. During the existence of white supremacy, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, it is not necessary for white people to offer to help non-white people to end white supremacy. All that is necessary for white people to do, listen now, all that is necessary for white people to do in order to end the system of white supremacy is to stop practicing white supremacy themselves and to persuade all others to stop practicing white supremacy. It doesn't take some grand effort, but it just takes that white person to stop practicing or upholding the system of white supremacy in whatever way that they're doing that. From an individual standpoint, just don't practice the system of white supremacy. If a collective of white people do that, then you got a whole bunch of white people not practicing the system of white supremacy, not being racist. Just stop doing it. I've always said that racism will end when white people choose to stop practicing racism. Well, what incentive do they have to stop practicing the system of racism? The incentive is not because they feel bad about what they've done to black people. The incentive has to be greater than that. Because if it was just about feeling bad about what they've done to black people, racism would have been over. You're asking people to give up land, power, money, and resources. Domination. Give up dominating the globe. Give that up. It's way more complex than that. Eclectic pluralism. He talked about that in the clip. Eclectic pluralism. And I'm glad I read this because now I have a name for the way that I go about learning religion and spirituality and God. Because a while ago, I've always been intrigued by various religions. So when I was young and my mom used to drag me to church, and yes, my mom had to drag me to church. I have never been to church because I actually wanted to go to church. There's never been a day in my life that I've stepped foot in a church because I actually wanted to go to church. So it's either been for a community event or because my mother has dragged me to church, or my pops had dragged me to church, or it's a funeral or a wedding. But I've never stepped into a church to say, hey, I want to go to church, right? But I've always been fascinated by the various religions and the information that's in the religions. So at some point over 20 years ago, I started studying various religions. I think the first religion I started studying outside of Christianity is Islam. And then from there, Hinduism. Then I jumped to Judaism, I believe, and just studying various ones. But the thing was, I didn't believe that one religion had the answer. I never believed one religion had the answer. Why all these religions exist? And you're going to tell me one religion has the answer. And then in studying these religions, these various religions, I realized that they're all remixes of the same thing. They're all different, just different versions of the same thing, right? So most of them are talking about the same thing. So I decided to pluck information from each religion that I learn about to kind of piece together so I can have an understanding of what God is and what existence is. And so Nelly Fuller has put a name to that, and that's called eclectic pluralism. The religion of compensatory eclectic pluralism means to choose parts of many different religious viewpoints, concepts, etc., in order to find the correct one. And that's what I've been doing for the past 20-something years. Just had no name for it. So Nelly Fuller has a name for it, and it's eclectic pluralism. So from now on, what do I practice? Eclectic pluralism. And it means to continue learning, to continue seeking truth. It is basically the process of asking many questions and seeking the best and correct answers for thinking, speaking, and acting correctly in all areas of human activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter war. So that's what I've been doing for a while. I have, like, even behind me, I'm looking at the Bhagavad Gita that I'm looking at, something about ancient Near East. I have all types of books, a book on the shelf up there, The Wheels of Life, talking about the chakras, right next to a book about Aristotle, right next to the Bible, you know. So for me, it's about, I never thought that one religion had the answer. One religion was the way. Like, this is not the way. It just didn't feel right to me. My intuition just couldn't rock with that. So the eclectic pluralism is what I've been on. So eclectic pluralism is also a compensatory, functional, and or transitional religion, which includes methods of speech and or action that can be used by a victim of racism as a compensatory, functional means of helping to counteract the effects of such victimization in any one or more areas of activity. A religion that can be used, eclectic pluralism is also a religion that can be used to help a victim of racism to find the best religion. A temporary religion for a victim of racism that can be used in whole or in part to counteract those parts of other religions that may directly or indirectly function in support of racism. A compensatory functional religion based on principles derived from two or more systems of religion. A compensatory functional religion based on principles derived from two or more social or material systems or concepts. The concept and practice of making many principles into one and or one principle into many. Here's a note. Eclectic pluralism is expressed only through the individual person as an individual person, and only during the time that the person is seeking the best combination of thought, speech, and action associated with truth, justice, correctness, and peace. It is not possible for eclectic pluralism to be correctly associated with any so-called organization of persons other than an organization of one person seeking to organize himself or herself. There is no so-called formal or informal meeting place, location, church, temple, mosque, holy site, synagogue, congregation, etc., functionally associated with the concept and the evolution of eclectic pluralism. To think, speak, and act as if eclectic pluralism is anything other than how it is described according to the United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code concept is to describe it as not being associated with the United Independent Compensatory Counter System concept. Eclectic pluralism cannot be put into a box. Eclectic pluralism cannot be regulated. Eclectic pluralism is a personal pursuit of truth. Eclectic pluralism is a personal pursuit of information and what God is and how to use this information to best find truth and seek truth for correctness. That's what eclectic pluralism is. So if you are like me and you are down with eclectic pluralism, shout out to you. If you're not, shout out to you anyway. But the main thing is to find truth. Being able to find truth, but also being able to use what you're using. Religion should help to fight the system of white supremacy. Religion should help to solve problems, just like education. The same as education. Education should help to solve problems, and so should religion help to solve our problems. And if the religion that we are a part of is not helping to solve the problem of white supremacy, then it may not be the best system for you to use. Our greatest mission is to end the system of white supremacy. If your religion is eclectic pluralism, which means to choose any part from different religious viewpoints, concepts, etc., in order to find the correct one, and you are asked if you attend church, say the following. Say, I have been to church. I stopped going to church. I never left the church. People ask me that all the time. Do I go to church? Nah. And then I tell them I've never been to church because I wanted to go to church. I don't go to church. So a person who practices eclectic pluralism is always in so-called church because you're always in search of truth. Wherever he or she may be seeking the truth about what to do and what not to do, that is the will of his or her creator. You are in church. Church is not just a physical building. Church is what you do. Just like religion is what you do. It's the practice. It's the continuous practice of finding truth and seeking truth and righteousness and correctness. It's continuously doing that on a regular basis. A person who practices eclectic pluralism is always in so-called church, wherever he or she may be seeking truth about what to do and what not to do is the will of the creator, right? When asked about religions, consider asking and or answering questions in the following eclectic pluralist manner. So here's the question. What do you know about all of the religions? The answer is, I'm still learning. The question, what do you know about God, Allah, Jehovah, the Great Spirit, the Creator, the Source, all power? The answer, I'm still learning. Which religion is the best and what is the name of that religion? The answer, I'm still learning. Who is the person that you know who knows as much about God as God knows about God? The answer, I'm still learning. Because that's what eclectic pluralism is all about. I don't know right now, but I'm still learning. I'm searching through as many vehicles as I can to learn truth, to seek truth, correctness, justice, peace. All right. So this question is, can a person be a white supremacist and at the same time be a Buddhist, a Christian, a Confucian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, etc.? So can a person be a white supremacist and claim to be religious at the same time? The answer is no. Only a white person who practices white supremacy is a white supremacy. It's a white supremacist. And the only religion that a white supremacist practices is the system of white supremacy. It's the religion of white supremacy. Everything else is a mask. Everything else is a cover-up. Everything else is designed to deceive you into thinking that this person is not a white supremacist. Because remember, that's a part of the refinement and the maintenance of white supremacy. White supremacy today would not look like white supremacy did yesterday, and white supremacy today would not look like white supremacy tomorrow. It's a ever-evolving system, and it is something that affects all areas. Stressing that it affects all areas, and confusion and deception is a tactic that it uses in all areas of human activity. All areas. So religion is a tool of white supremacy. If we can control the religions, we can control whether people affect or challenge the system of white supremacy. Which holidays are the correct ones for thinking, speaking, and acting to accomplish things of constructive value? And so Nelly Fuller's answer is every day, all day, and all night. Don't think of holidays the same way that has been given to us. Think of every day as a day to celebrate constructive action, constructive thinking, constructive behavior, constructive building, just being constructive. Every day that something constructive is done, is created, we're being constructive. These are the things that we should celebrate. We should only be concentrating on being constructive. We should only be concentrating on ending white supremacy. We should only be doing that. Eclectic pluralism, continuing to seek the truth, no matter what you call yourself. Eclectic pluralism, continuing to seek the truth so we can end the system of white supremacy. Which of your ancestors do you need to be familiar with the most? And I know some people are going to agree with this, some people not. So he's saying the creator of the universe. So Nelly Fuller is saying the only ancestor as of now that we need to be in association with is the creator. Whether you agree with that or not, that's on you. I'm not telling you to agree with it. I'm trying not to tell you to not agree with it. But I thought that was interesting, right? So I'm not saying that's something that you have to agree with. What are some important things to think about as you work to end racism and produce justice? All right. Remember, continue seeking strength and guidance from that power or force that produced the known and unknown universe and the persistent regardless, and be persistent. Let me start that over. I messed that up. So continue seeking strength and guidance from that power or force that produced the known and unknown universe, and be persistent regardless of past or current circumstances of oppositions or disappointments. Do not quit. I repeat, do not quit. Do not start thinking of other things to do with your time and energy. Keep trying. Keep trying even when you get little or no help. Keep trying even when your efforts appear to have no constructive effect. Keep trying. The goal is to continue to fight the system of white supremacy in all areas. Even if it looks like we will never win, keep fighting, keep trying. The force of the creator, of the all-powerful true creator that exists, that force exists in everything that is alive. That's what I believe. I believe that there's a God force. We'll just call it that, a God force that exists in myself, in you, in everything that is alive. The God force exists in that. That's how God can be omnipresent, by existing in everything at once. That's how the experiences happen. That's how God is omniscient. The force is ever pervading. It's everywhere. My grass gets cut and it grows back. It's alive. The trees are alive. The animals are alive. The atoms are alive. The force of God exists in everything. That's why I'm animated. That's why I'm able to move. This is the God force that is within me. When that God force is no longer within me, I'm considered dead. What exists in me, the things that make up me, that make up the human body, are the same things that make up the universe, that make up the natural world. Sometimes I think we forget that we are just a part of nature as everything else. Because we have removed ourselves from nature, we forgot that we are a part of nature. We are just a part of and at the mercy of nature, as a squirrel is, as an ant is, as a tiger or a lion or any other animal. We forgot we're animals. We are highly cognitive animals, but we forgot that we're animals. We forgot that nature exists within us and that we exist within nature. We forgot that. But see, with eclectic pluralism, those are things that you study. With eclectic pluralism, it helps you to recognize and remember our place in this universe. It helps us to remember our place in nature. It helps us to remember the God within us, that God is within us. The force, or whatever you call it, it is within us and all around us at the same time. I see God every day when I look in the mirror. I see God every day when I go outside. I see the good and the bad in humanity. That's the good and the bad in nature. Perception matters. Perception, how we perceive those things. Good and bad is also perception. But the main thing is, from my understanding, my experience, and my research, and just everything, God, the force of God is within me, and the force of God is within all of us. But it's just how we choose to use the force. How do we choose to use this force to either dominate others or create justice? Through eclectic pluralism, I have learned more about myself, more about the force of God, and more about producing justice. The religion of white supremacy is the most powerful and the most evil of all the religions in the known universe. Those who practice the religion of white supremacy are opposed to all religions that are not supportive of the religion of white supremacy. If we're not using our religions to solve our problems and to end the system of white supremacy, our religions are like anything else. They are useless to us and are wasting our time. Because anything that does not work and seek to end the system of white supremacy and produce justice is the waste of our time and our efforts. So that was area 7, which is religion, and it goes from page 261 to 274. It's a short chapter. Make sure you get your read on. 261 to 274. Eclectic pluralism, the religion of white supremacy, the force of God. If we are not using the force of God and the religions that we practice to end the system in the religion of white supremacy, we're only helping to uphold the system of white supremacy. Link to buy the book is in the description. Matter of fact, the link to the Victor of White Supremacy YouTube channel, that's also in the description. Make sure you go check out the Victors of White Supremacy YouTube channel, where you can find a lot of the audio of Nelly Fuller talking about and breaking down this book. That's in the description as well. So the link to Nelly Fuller's book, producejustice.com, and the link to the Victors of White Race, the Victims of White Supremacy, the Victors of White Supremacy, that link to that YouTube channel is in the description as well. Go check it out. Go subscribe to the Victors of White Supremacy YouTube channel. Go subscribe to that channel. A lot of great information from Nelly Fuller. If you're not familiar with, those are some of the clips that I've used. So go subscribe to that YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, comment, like, subscribe, share, continue to support this. Happy Monday. It's Juneteenth. You know, let's fight the power. Let's fight the power. I love you all now.